Hey, hello everyone. Today is a great day here in the state of New York, and I really hope everyone is having a wonderful Saturday morning, and I hope your day just continues to be wonderful. I want to wish everyone a happy Easter, and first, I want to thank everyone for all your love and all your support towards my sister when my sister was in the hospital fighting for her life. I truly appreciate that. I truly appreciate all my subscribers. I just appreciate it all. Great thumbs up. I really, really appreciate that. How's my sister doing? Well, my sister is doing well at this time. She hasn't had any more seizures at this time. Um, she has to keep up her iron intake. That means so to avoid any more iron infusions. Iron infusions is like they give you iron, liquid iron through an IV, just like they do a blood transfusion and many other things. And my sister has to eat lots of different foods that's high in iron: white rice, beets, oatmeal, all kinds of meat. She has to eat like meat from every category, but I believe beef is the one with the highest most iron. Fish, she just had to eat those things that she wasn't eating, things that she don't like or thought she didn't like. She had to start eating them and hopefully learn to get used to eating them, and not only eat them, but she get to see that they taste amazing, they taste great. Cook them, wash them, cook them, season them, all kind of vegetables, all kind of fruits. All that stuff is great. It's amazing. Like I said, wash that stuff up, season it, cook it, prepare it, and make a meal out of it. And it's great. And so far she has been eating those things, and she has come to learn that they're great tasting foods if you know how to cook them, wash them, cook them, and prepare them properly. They're very great tasting foods. So I'm glad that she's learning to adapt to her new eating ways. This will help prevent her from having any more seizures. Now, my sister doesn't have epileptic seizures. She has non-epileptic seizures, which causes her to have seizures in other kinds of ways, like low iron, being stressed out about things, being tired, fatigue. It's a lot of different things that could cause non-epileptic seizures. So that's her case. And I will be, studying and maybe doing videos on what is non-epileptic seizures. So people that doesn't know anything about that or is unaware of what is non-epileptic seizures will be aware of it, because it's out there and it is true. All seizures don't come from brain dysfunctions. No, that's not true. It comes from like poor eating, not eating enough foods that has iron in it, that's high in iron. Not taking supplements, because things that we eat, we think we getting enough nutrients in these things because we eat them almost every day, all the time, and we're not. You know why we're not getting the nutrients that we're supposed to be getting? Because these fruits and vegetables, when they're grown, they're washed, sprayed with pesticide, and when we come home, we got to wash that stuff off really, really good. And when that stuff gets sprayed with pesticide, it takes away a lot of the nutrients from the fruits, the vegetables, and things that we eat. And we think we getting the full balance of that, and we're not, because the pesticides take it away. And when the pesticides take it away, that allows the vegetables, the fruits, and the meats to give us less nutrients. So I'm just grateful and thankful for all the wonderful prayers, all the wonderful concerns. I'm really grateful for that. And another thing, I would like for people to comment below if you are the only one in your family that's a caregiver for whoever is sick or whoever needs any kind of help, anything concerning life. When you're a caregiver, it doesn't mean you gotta fully take care of the person. When you're a caregiver, there's lots of different ways of being a caregiver. You could cook. You could cook for somebody. You can assist somebody to the store. You go to the doctor with them. You can financially help them with their money. You can financially support them if they don't have the money. You could like take care of their pets if they have pets. What else could you do? Bathe them, shower them. You could just be a caregiver just from giving somebody your presence, just sitting there talking to them. Some people is lonely. Some people need that. Not everybody have somebody to sit and talk to them every day, all day on a daily basis. Some people just want you to be in their presence. Sometimes you don't have to do a lot of talking. You could just sit there with the person. The person feels comfortable with just you sitting there, by their side, you having your presence there. It's just many different ways you could be a caregiver. You might have to do some shopping for them. There's different shoppings. You might have to grocery shop. You might have to do pick up their medicine. You might have to with other clothes shop. You might have to do their laundry. There's just many different ways of being a caregiver. Comment below what it's like in being the only one in your family to be a caregiver whenever an emergency strikes, and tell me, how does that feel? Because it could be a good thing and it could be a bad thing. Why it could be a good thing? Because you get to see happiness and joy in the person when they feel better, when they feeling stronger, when they realize you're the one that was there being their caregiver. And it could be overwhelming because you don't like seeing the person sick, feeling down. And it could be overwhelming, and in a lot of other different ways. Like you could get exhausted from going back and forth to the hospital to see them. Although, don't get me wrong, I'm gonna rephrase that. It could be overwhelming going back and forth to the hospital, seeing them, but you also get the joy of going back and forth to the hospital, seeing them or him or her get better and stronger. So that could be, put together in two different categories. What else is overwhelming? It's overwhelming, seeing them take a lot of medication. You have to see them take a lot of medicine so they could get better. What else? They got a lot of medical appointments to go to. So those things could be overwhelming. It could be stressful. It could bring you and your loved one, your person. It don't even have to be a loved one. It could be a random somebody. Maybe you're a healthcare provider and you taking care of an individual, or maybe you taking care of more than one individual. It just could be put together in different ways to be overwhelming. And the last thing you would want to see is somebody dying. You wouldn't want to see that. So it could be overwhelming and it could be good. But being the only one in the family as a caregiver when emergencies happen, like I said, it's a good thing and it's a bad thing. Me, I got to see both sides. I got to see the good side of my sister slowly recovering. She's getting better. She's getting back on her feet. And I got to see the bad side from when she wasn't doing well. And I'm more than sure we all experienced that. Now, my sister's situation, I would consider it unstable, like a roller coaster. You just don't know. And right now, us, family, friends, we're hoping this situation doesn't happen ever again, no time soon. So if I'm not mistaken, I think it's been 2 weeks. And yes, she's doing well. And I'm glad that she's, doing well. I'm really, really happy for that. And it's hot in here. Excuse me, I gotta wipe my face off because it's hot in here. The sun is going in and out because supposed to have some nice weather this week. in here in New York. It's supposed to be flexible up and down, but it's supposed to be nice some days, some days may be a little bit more cooler or warmer than others, but it's because springtime is, trying to come in. But let's save that for another video. I'm not talking about spring. I'm talking about what it's like being a caregiver or being the only caregiver in your family when emergencies happen, because you're the one that can handle things and keep people and everything organized without everything turning into a more bigger catastrophe than what it is. And again, I just hope and pray for my sister's recovery. I hope all goes well for her. Right now I'm home. I'm just chilling, just relaxing, I'm feeling better because I was really feeling, exhausted from the situation. But at the same time, I get to see my sister recover, and my pup is sneezing. I'll be back. I'm back. My pup was sneezing. I think he might be suffering from allergies. I think it's time for him and my cat to take a trip to the visit, just to be sure, they're okay because of their allergies and with the weather change. So if you hear sneezing in the video, it was my pup sneezing, and he was just trying to get my attention. He wanted to let me know he was sneezing. He seemed to be okay. But I want to get back to what I was saying. Being the only one in the family as a caregiver, it doesn't matter what kind of situation it is. It don't have to be going to the doctor. It doesn't have to be rushed to the ER. It could be a caregiver in many different ways. Food, money, it doesn't matter. Again, certain situations could be overwhelming. Certain situations could be, great because, again, you get to see the person get better. And on the other hand, you get to see the person, struggle to get better and be stronger. And so they could have a more consistency towards, a good life. You want them to, when they get better, you want them to be even more better. You want them to be stronger and better than they were before they became sick. My sister's illness just suddenly happened out of nowhere, because my sister does have a history of seizures, but she hasn't had seizures in 17 years. And just out of nowhere, boom, it happened like that. And then the doctors had a hard time finding out what was causing her seizures. Then, maybe a week after her being in the hospital, they doing all kinds of tests. They did a test, some type of special test, and boom, they found the answer. They found out that she barely had no iron in her blood, in her body, no iron. It was like 4 doctors, rushing in to get the iron set up, because it's like a blood transfusion. They was getting the iron set up. The doctors is talking. They had to start getting it through the IV, because just as they was getting the iron set up to go through the IV, she was looking like she was going to have another seizure. But they rushed the iron through the IV so it could go through her, and the seizure stopped, and she hasn't had no more seizures for maybe 2 weeks. So that's really heartwarming, really happiness, just joy to see my sister smile and see her slowly get back on her feet. And again, I'm grateful for all the love, all the support. I truly appreciate it. My sister really did scare me. Yes, I did cry because I didn't like seeing my sister like that. I don't think I have ever seen anybody have seizures in real life. I'm not sure that, let me think. No, I think this might have been the first time my sister, this might be the first time of me seeing my sister have seizures. If I seen my sister have seizures 17 years ago, I have no memory of seeing it. So, because maybe I was young, or I was younger 17 years ago, not maybe. Or maybe I didn't like seeing the sight of her, so I don't have no memory. So I'm going to put it as, this is my first time. It doesn't matter if it's a family member or not. This is my first time in real life seeing anybody have seizures. Comment below if you have friends, family member who suffers from seizures. It doesn't matter what kind of seizures. It could be epileptic, or it could be non-epileptic seizures. Again, non-epileptic seizures come from other situations in the body. Stress, tiredness, not getting enough sleep, insomnia, low iron in the blood, and it could be many other factors too. It could be a psychological thing. It's just many different things that could cause non-epileptic seizures, and that situation needs to be studied more, because a lot of doctors, they didn't know how to treat it. First of all, they didn't know how to find out what was causing it. But I thank God that they were able to find the cause of her seizures before she left the hospital, because after she came out the hospital, she had maybe 4 more seizures. She ended up back in the hospital, but she didn't stay. They gave her medication and, sent her back home and told her to continue, her routine. At the time she went back in the hospital, when she had those 4 seizures, I believe in the foods and stuff that she was eating wasn't working fast enough, because she wasn't out the hospital long enough for anything to work fast enough. So at this point, I'm just grateful that my sister's doing well. I'll always be grateful for the wonderful comments. I mean, I just can't stop saying thank you, because I could have lost my sister, and my sister was in the hospital, really struggling, fighting for her life. And yes, my sister's a warrior. Yeah, my baby sister. And I just don't want this to happen again. And I hope it doesn't happen again. Yes, I love my little sis. I'm about 4.5 years older than my sister. My sister is going to be 53 this year. I'm going to be 58. I'm the older sister, so I wouldn't want to see nothing like this happen to none of my family members. I wouldn't want to see nothing like that happen to anybody, because it's not a good sight to see. And when people come out of the seizures, they have memory loss. They don't remember anything. They don't remember the seizures. They don't remember people. They don't remember who they are. I mean, it's for a short amount of time. The memory loss don't last. But it's sad to see that they don't remember, life itself. So it takes a little time for their memory to get back to them. And it all depends on how bad the seizures were, how long they last. My sister was having seizures just back to back, 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 back to back. She was foaming from the mouth. She had grand mal seizures. I believe grand mal seizures are the worst ones. I believe those are the worst on the epileptic. I believe grand mal epileptic seizure, grand mal epileptic brain seizures are the worst ones. And grand mal non-epileptic seizures are the worst ones. So no matter which way you put it, I believe grand mal seizures are the worst ones. Grand mal seizures is when the person is having a full-blown seizure. Their whole entire body is shaking. I mean, their body shakes so hard it shakes the bed that they're laying in. And God forbid, the person have a seizure, and fall on the floor. Because they fall on the floor, they could hit their head. That could make things even worse. And back in the days when you have a seizure, especially a grand mal, they used to take a spoon and press down on your tongue to keep you from swallowing your tongue and swallowing your saliva. Nowadays, I don't see them doing that anymore. When a person is having a seizure, I believe you turn them to their right to keep them from swallowing their tongue, swallowing their saliva, and it helps the seizure calm down, more sooner, more faster. So comment below if you're the only one in your family that can help a family member in a medical situation, a medical emergency. Comment below if you in your family know someone that has epileptic seizures, epileptic brain seizures, or non-epileptic seizures. And if so, how do you go about treating these kind of situations? Please explain to me how I can help my sister have a better life when it's time for her seizures to come on. Is there anything I can do that more better than what I'm doing? Or is there anything she can do to help herself in a situation like that? Is there any way to stop a seizure before it happened? Because sometimes the person could feel themselves having a seizure before it happened, and sometimes they can't. Sometimes my sister will give some type of signal, like if she feels the seizure happening before it happened, she would raise her left hand. And sometimes she can't give no signal. It just boom happens just like that. So are there ways to prevent a seizure before it happening? Are there ways a person can help themselves prevent a seizure before it happens? If so, comment below. I'm willing to accept suggestions. And I believe this is it for now. I'm just grateful that my sister is doing well. I'm just, happy for everything. And I have to say, thank you again for all the love and, all the support. There are lots of wonderful people out in the world. Not everybody is bad. But until next time, later, everyone.